Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. We're back. Been a while since I said that, haven't I? And we're back. I often get asked why I don't do that anymore on the Let's Plays. And we're back. And it's pretty simple, actually. Well, there's two reasons. It breaks the fourth wall a bit too much. I do miss it, though. I do miss it. But I used to break the fourth wall with Steve all the time. I would discuss mods. I did it with Will. I would discuss, but I got a lot of complaints, believe it or not. I got a lot of complaints. And here's the thing. The people who made the complaints, I know everyone's probably going to go, people are always complaining. They've actually got a point. Because when I first started Let's Plays, I did have this weird mix where I would immerse into character, but then I would step out. Now, the thing is you can do that. Of course you can. I mean, you're playing a game, you immerse in, you suddenly need a pee, you press escape, you go have a pee, you come back. You didn't go for a pee in character, yeah? So, you do it all the time. But when making a Let's Play, it does feel a little jarring. So then I started to... Who's that? I got something. Something went on. Resub, 60 months. Thank you, Nails. So yeah, I mean... Did I Deadpool it with Steve? In some ways, I do Deadpool it a little, if you think about it. Even with, like, Leonard. I don't directly talk to you guys, but I do talk to my inner voice, which is you. And I often even come close to acknowledging your existence. But I don't quite Deadpool it, no. But have you noticed I do Deadpool it on my preludes? Now I can legally get plastered in chat. Okay. Whoa, okay. Nightcrawler has just gifted a bunch of subs, and we're already on a hype. We are on a hype train. So yeah, but anyway, so the people complaining, they had a point. I mean, sometimes they would complain in a manner that was, shall we say, less conducive to convincing me. Don't lie, there are sub sounds. I can see them. You heard sub sounds. Yes, you did. Don't pretend. There were always sub sounds. The sub sounds were always there. It was your ears that were broken. I pressed a button and it unblocked your ears. I have a button here that unblocks your ears. Ooh, I actually have... I'll do the button update once I've got through with my intro. So, yeah. So where was I? Yeah, so this happened quite a few times. Then with, like, Richard, I started doing Let's Mod Talk beforehand and then doing the episode. So I separated out the Mod Talk. However, the whole "and we're back" thing, it did do two things. One, it interrupted the narrative. Think of the way I do my Let's Plays now, right? Think of the way I do my Let's Plays now. I think it's better the way I do it now. I do miss the "and we're back," but what I do now is I tend to try and find a place to stop that just feels right and then have it flow on into the start of the next one. And sometimes... Who's that? New cheer. New cheer. Who cheered? D Hunter. Thank you very much. But I mean, I flow into the narrative. I try to flow into the narrative at the start of the next episode from the first one. Sometimes it won't even require that I try to do it because I will have picked the point post-play. Sometimes I know where I'm going to end. Sometimes I could be doing something will happen, and then I will just hit stop record, save game, that was the end. I just know it. It's like I know I feel it. I know I've been playing for long enough. I know I've got enough footage for an entire episode, and something happens where I go, oh yeah, that is where we're ending. There are moments. But sometimes I'll play 2 or 3 hours and I'll never quite know for sure. In fact, there might be multiple places. And so what I just do is I generally play now through those narrative moments, and then later on pick the start and the end. And again, you may see 3 or 4 places in a single video where you think he could have ended it there, right? And it's used very often. Well, I don't know if you've noticed with Leonard, I do. If I feel I've played for a while without doing anything, let's say I've done a load of crafting, or maybe we finished the dungeon and all I did was wander through the dungeon and go in every single. I raster scanned it for loot because we'll do a dungeon and then we'll finish the objective. But then on the way out, what I'll do is I'll go through every single bloody room, checking every single bloody cupboard, and picking up every single coin, which is very, very boring. And then when we get out, what I might do is go third person with Leonard and have Leonard chatting with Inigo. And part of the reason there is that might be where I'm going to start the next episode. I don't know. I've got no idea. But also, it gives me a chance to jump back in character. Because one of the things... Put chat on overlay on. Okay, I was going to do that when I started talking about buttons. But I got distracted. All right. Whoa. Something just changed. Why did that button change? That was bad. That was not good. That was not good. Nope, that was not good. Button fail. Button fail. Can we do it in a minute? Can we do buttons in a minute? All right, you know what? I tell you what. I'm going to do this old school because my buttons have failed. I'm really upset now. My buttons failed. Hype train success. We all got an emote. Yay! Woo! You could do the buttons in a minute, but you should do the tweet now. Oh, God, I forgot to tweet. I was so happy with myself. I got some buttons sorted, and I forgot the tweet. Now I'm in trouble. My moderators are telling me off. No, the 76. Oh, clock. News. Live. Now. I wonder why I put now. What's the point of putting now? It's not like live yesterday. Twitch.tv, Gopher Gaming. Right, okay, I've tweeted, I've done, I'm there. Right, is the internet problem gone? We're still on the intro, we'll discuss other things after the intro. I know I'm discussing Let's Plays now, but it's part of the intro. I will segue back to the intro. So yeah, what will happen is after I do a load of looting, I will have been silent for 5 or 10 minutes. And so it's sometimes nice to then go third person and get back into it, yeah? So you'll see that quite often throughout the Let's Play series. And very often, those will be the points I'll pick as a start if I didn't have anything more exciting. I'll pick those moments. This should now highlight the second problem with the "and we're back," because I don't know where it's going to be. When I used to do the Let's Plays, basically I would record for a certain amount and then I would end. And I'm there, we're going to leave it there then. Thanks, see you next time. And then I'd start the next one knowing exactly where I was starting. In fact, it was very common for me to have already posted the past episode before I make the next episode. Because in those days I was posting like 3 a week, and so I just record it and upload it. Now I don't. I record in chunks and then I edit it and I try to get out the boring bits and yada. I've got no idea where the starts are, so I've no idea where to add the "and you're back," so I'd have to do it post. And that wouldn't feel right. I mean, the only way I could do this was if I went into the episode and would like, "And we're back. Last time on Inigo and Leonard, this happened," right? But it wouldn't. It would feel wrong. It would feel wrong. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the short version of why there is no "and we're back." And you're thinking, good God, what would the long version be? Probably the same. So that's why I don't do "and we're back" anymore. Just make a character that screams "and we're back" randomly. Someone with back injury. Yeah. So that's... So that's the reason. But I can say it when I do the podcast, especially if I've not had an internet for half a week. Because I'm back. Thank you, Anonymous, and Irresponse for the resubs. Kindle Cat, Knurter, thank you for the resubs as well. So yeah, that was the intro. All right, yeah, let's do technical things then first. Let's do technical things first. Pretending like the intro didn't happen. Yeah, I lost internet over the weekend. We lost the internet. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. And it was really annoying, actually. We weren't able to watch anything. We watched Sonic the Hedgehog with the kids, and it was awful because the streaming was just all pixelated non-stop. The movie was pretty good. My son couldn't stop jumping up and down. But, it really was irritating. Couldn't watch anything like Netflix. Because although I had the internet, it was kind of like I had it for like a minute and then I'd have it not for a minute and it would be choppy, and if you were watching a movie it would be all distorted all the time. It was just really annoying. And everyone in the block was getting it, and not just in the block, in all of the buildings in the entire neighbourhood were getting it. And obviously a lot of people had been phoning Telenor, who are the provider here, and they were doing the whole usual thing. Have you tried rebooting your router? Yes. Have you tried rebooting the box? Yes. Have you tried updating Windows? Yeah. It was like they were doing that to everybody. And we started talking to people on Facebook, because we've got like Facebook groups for the blocks around here. And everyone's going, yeah, I complained. They're sending me a new bloody box. Yeah, me too. It's sending me a box. There's like 12 people in this neighbourhood are getting a new bloody box. And it never occurred to them that when they've got 40 odd complaints from the same area, it might not be the bloody boxes. So it took forever before they actually acknowledged that there was a problem. And then they finally said, oh yeah, we can see there's a problem. Why couldn't you see there was a problem instantly? Why is your system not just set up? If you can go into your system and find that there is in fact a problem somewhere down the line between Telenor and our apartment, if you can do that, why isn't that automatic at your end? Your customer support. When I phone you and tell you my address, you should have automatically typed that in, and you can see your customer details. You can see what package you've got, and you can see me. And you should have all of the statuses for all of the nodes and lines between you and me. It should just be automatic. You should just, oh yeah, I can see there's a flaw. And it shouldn't be, oh, I had to go in and see if there was a problem. There should just be some automatic system that goes, we've lost contact with such and such a node, or we're getting a really weird jitter. There should just be something you check on a reasonably regular basis. And they didn't. So then when they finally acknowledged there was a problem, they still didn't update their website. So that if you went and checked for that area, they were like, they hadn't corrected it. So we waited a day or so hoping for them to fix it, and then phoned them back, and they were like, well, we thought we'd fix that. I'm like, no, you bloody well haven't. And then they go back and, oh yeah, we can see we'll send someone. Oh. But here's the funny thing. There's still a bunch of people in these blocks getting new bloody internet boxes sent to them. Whenever I phone people like this, I have a spiel ready. So we're phoning them, and I'm like, right, we seem to have lost connection. And they're like, have you tried? I said, right, okay, I've rebooted my router. I also updated the firmware on it to the latest version. All of my machines, and I do have a number of them, have been updated to the latest versions, and all seem to be working just fine. The box that you've sent me has got all of its lights. They're all blinking as they're supposed to. I plugged in my laptop using a brand new, never used before Cat5e network cable of 1.5 meters length into the box. After rebooting it, and I mean cold rebooting it, I took out the power and the cable and the network cable, left it for 2 minutes, then plugged it back in, rebooted it, plugged my laptop in with said brand new network bloody cable, and your internet's balked. It's like, okay, we'll check. Saves a lot of bloody hassle. And yes, I did in fact use a brand new, never used before Cat5e cable. The thing is I do have a lot of sympathy for customer support because they do get a lot of blindingly stupid phone calls. Probably for every one phone call like mine, they'll get 100, you know. You know the types. I've lost the internet. Well, have you tried rebooting the box? I can't see it. It's all dark here. Well, turn the light on. I can't. The lights won't work. Is the power gone? Yeah. It's like, you know. So I can sort of see it. Oh, hello, Che. Yeah, I got my internet back. But it is annoying. It is annoying that when somebody who isn't a complete idiot phones customer support, they have to go through the idiot spiel. Perfect voice for my next character. Yeah, I can't do a voice like that and keep it up for... I mean, people often ask me in these things, why don't you try and do like an orc voice when you're playing an orc? It's because within half an hour, I'll have a sore bloody throat. You know, if you want to be like talking like this all the time, you know, I want to talk like a dark elf. Wake up, wake up. I could do it for a while as well. And it'd be kind of fun. And if I was doing voice lines for a mod, I might get away with it. You know why? Because I can do that in an hour, 2 hours. But if I did this for like 900 hours, this is how I'd bloody well sound for the rest of my life. I'm already feeling it. It's, you know, it's... So, all of my characters have got my voice, with some different... I like, when I was playing Barry, I tried to go a bit more downtown Mank when I was playing Barry. Tried to go a bit more to my roots. With Leonard, I try to go to a more neutral sound, the sort of accent I might use while I'm here in Norway. If I'm speaking to someone whose English is not good, but I don't want to use a heavy accent. That tends to be the accent I use with you guys, and it's not deliberate, it's just automatic. I'm talking to people, I'm trying to communicate, and I've not been in Manchester for a while, so I have a more neutral accent. But when I'm doing Leonard, of course, I do try to enunciate a little more, especially when Leonard is being Leonard. Because, you know, it's just, you know, but that is actually more often than not an indication of Leonard's voice, but rather an indication of Leonard's mindset. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but Leonard's way of speech does sometimes shift. And it even did that in the prelude, if you were paying attention. So, yeah. But like Leonard likes to put on airs, you know. And so, of course, he does, you know. Well, of course, yes. He gets a little, you know. But, yeah. But that's about it. That's the range I can do in voices for Let's Plays, because it's just too bloody much. You have to remember, a 1 hour episode might well have 3 hours of play, and keeping up that sort of voice for that is why people say, like, oh, could you play a Khajiit and talk like a Khajiit? No, it'd be nightmarishly hard. Because the other thing is I'd forget and I'd get it wrong. And when you're doing voice acting, what we got? The Green Phoenix, thank you very much. A huge Liverpool fan. It's weird that your favourite YouTuber is from Manchester. Well, if it makes you feel better, I consider myself more of a Liverpool person at the moment. Not that I follow football, but I did spend 9 years living in Liverpool. I spent approximately 1 year of my adult life in Manchester, 8 or 9 years of it in Liverpool and the rest in Norway. I've spent more of my adult life in Norway than in Britain by a long amount. So for me, Manchester was my childhood. Liverpool was my young adulthood. So... But yeah, so the other thing is when you're doing voice lines and you're doing that voice, or you're trying to do the third person conversation as a Khajiit, if you get it wrong, you can just re-record it. I can't do that for a Let's Play. If I was to try, sometimes people ask me weird questions like, do you just sit down and talk as you go, or do you go back, do the Let's Play, and then go back and add commentary after? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you any idea how hard the latter would be? To play, let's say I played for 3 hours, and to then look at 3 hours of footage, condense it down to an hour, based upon the visuals, and then add what I think I should have been saying in those moments? Oh God, that would take weeks. That every episode would be like a 2-week. Here's what I can tell you. Whenever I do the preludes for Leonard, those take a week. I am so not sticking to the time to. Do you know what? Trying to put links in the video on demand on the YouTube upload for this podcast is going to be impossible. And that's why I try to have little subsections, so that I can have little things in the link say, oh, go here for news on hardware, go here for... And I'm just rambling. I'm just going to have one link saying, just watch the bloody video because I've got no structure to my life whatsoever. 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, I give up. I give up trying to be organised. I'm just bad at it. Argoth the Rat Folk. Argoth at folk. I got folk and at folk. I'm going to give up trying to figure out if that means something. Argo the Rat Folk. Oh, right. Argo the Rat Folk. All right, that makes sense. Yes, there you go. So yeah, here's what I can tell you. I have spent the last over 4 days, it's almost 5 days, making the first 4 minutes of my next Let's Play. Why? Because it's semi-scripted. And I say semi-scripted because I've got an idea of what I'm going to say, but I never stick with it. But yeah, the next Let's Play, the first 4 minutes. Why? Again, I've got myself in a bit of a bind with that. I've done it with Leonard. Do you remember when I first started doing Let's Plays? I'd do like a prelude or even episode 1, and we'd talk about the character sheet, and I'd go, right, Steve here. Steve is an orc who lived with Nords, and he wants to be a warlock, right? And I'd do that. But now I try to introduce the character, like Leonard, and give you an insight into who he is and what he's going to be like without necessarily jamming it in your face. And I've sort of like typecast myself into being that guy now. So it depends on obviously it depends on the game. If it's a game I'm playing blind, I can't do that. But I'm going to be replaying Vampire the Masquerade, and I know what race I'm going to be, and I got an idea for a sort of a character for it, and I wanted to get that across, and I also wanted to show which skills and talents I was taking, but I didn't want to make it all like, like I was sat at a bloody tabletop. This is my character. He likes the colour green. I wanted to sort of get it across, so yeah, so I spent way too long and annoyed Quorico way too much. Yeah, she's eyeing me now. Like, no spoilers. There will be no spoilers. All they know is I'm playing Vampire the Masquerades, but that's not exactly much of a spoiler, as I pretty much admitted that's what I wanted to do anyway. But I finished it. But I spent way too long on it. So that's a thing. That is a thing. And that takes way too long. 4 minutes, like almost 5 days. Each and every one of the preludes takes that much time. And I know people are going to look at it and think, well, I don't understand. You do a lot of recording of shots and things, and then you do a script that you think works, and then you put it all together and you think, no, that sucks. So then you redo it, and then you think, no, that still sucks. And you do it, and you do it, and then you tweak it, and then you think, well, that bit's okay, but I'm going to redo that. And then you add the music, and then you think, oh, it just doesn't work. My tone of voice doesn't work with the music. Damn it, do I change the music or do I change my tone of voice? No, I like the music. All right, I'm going to change the tone of voice. I'm going to redo the lines from scratch. And so you go through that over and over and over and over again. So the basic answer is there's no way in hell I could do that for the entire Let's Plays. And if I tried, I would drive myself mental. So apart from the preludes, and occasionally, if I've started the session up and crack my knuckles, sit down and go, all right, I'm starting up, and I left it, I was in Whiterun, I left it in Whiterun, and we're going to do something, and then I'll say to myself, oh, you know what? Let's start this way. Let's start at Yorlan Greymane and do this. That'll be a good way to start, sort of thing. So I'll have a little bit of forethought as to how to start, how to get into it. So maybe I'll even have an idea of what I'm going to say for the first 30 seconds, and then I'm off. Even if I did have a plan beyond 30 seconds, you guys know me, I would have abandoned it by the 30-second mark, so it would be pointless. So that's it. No, my Let's Plays are pretty much made up as I go along, and are sometimes out of my control. So yeah, what clan did I pick? Oh, I can tell you that because that's common knowledge. I'm playing Nosferatu. I have played every single clan except Nosferatu and maybe Gangrel. I don't think I've actually played Gangrel. But the two characters that are... I think Gangrel, as they may be slightly different, they're still very similar to the other clans, right? And I picked Malkavian last time because I hadn't played Malkavian, so I'm playing Nosferatu this time. And it's just because I think Malkavian and Nosferatu are so different that the experience in-game is going to be noticeably different. And it was with Malkavian. You get very different lines. I suspect I'm going to get very different lines with Nosferatu. Now, I can tell you, I do remember all clans got different lines, different responses from different people, because obviously the different clans have their different biases, but I suspect the difference with Nosferatu is going to be larger. And so I always knew if I ever played Vampire the Masquerade again, I was going to play the Nosferatu clan. And seeing as, Bloodlines 2 is coming out top, this is the perfect time. Nosferatu is hard because everyone hates you. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find that very hard. So yeah, so it will be Nosferatu. And you're going to have to play the first one at some point. If you've not played Disposable Dwarf, if you've not played Vampire the Masquerade, get it. Get it with the unofficial patch, the latest version. If you get it on GOG via my link, yay! Shilling. If you get it via my link, I believe it comes pre-installed with the unofficial patch. I believe it does. And that's pretty much all you need. There are a bunch of other mods. There are even EMBs, but honestly, I hesitate to recommend any of them. I really do. To be honest with you, I might go with an EMB if I wasn't recording, but the two EMBs I tried did make dark scenes even darker. And with the problems I've been having with dark games, I decided no. As atmospheric as it might... It didn't even make it that much more atmospheric. A little bit. But I thought, nope. Keep it as is. So, but yeah, it's an old game and it can look a bit janky, but it's like playing Deus Ex, the original. If you play Deus Ex, it's a god-awful looking game. It really is. Still a good game. Still a bloody good game. Vampire Masquerades The Bloodlines is really good. There are some parts of it that feel a bit clumsy. The start is not good. The way they introduce the story, it's not the most polished way of getting into a game, right? You can tell, but its core concept was brilliant, and the unofficial patch has really helped bring everything together, get rid of a lot of the bugs, and make it a very playable experience to the point where, honestly, it's really enjoyable. It really is. It is a great RPG. It's reasonable for a vampire to see in the dark. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, the only possible reason for wanting deep, dark shadows in a game, for me, apart from atmosphere, is if you're playing a character that relies on shadows. If you play a character that relies on shadows for stealth, you need to know where the shadows are. You need to be able to see the shadows. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And those shadows need to look dark, because if they didn't look dark, that wouldn't make sense. But stealth in Vampire the Masquerades is, let's face it, especially if you're playing Nosferatu, you're going to be using Obfuscate anyway, so shadows. So, but no, I mean, I'm going to err on the side of caution and not use an EMB. But yeah, get it with my link from GOG and play it. And don't be afraid of playing it multiple times as well. Do not be afraid of playing it multiple times. There are a couple of different endings I seem to remember, and it is different enough each time, especially if you play. You've got to play once through with, say, what I would call a normal clan. Yeah, you want to be playing one of the sort of the better looking clans, or I can never remember the names of the clans. I'm really bad at this. You want to be playing something like the Bruja, or is it Toreador or something? God, it's been such a long time since I've actually played it. Ventru. You want to be playing with one of those sort of vampires that can just walk into a place and look fine, but also doesn't sound like a gibbering Tremere. Tremere were the mages, right? Toreadors were the good-looking vampires. Tremere were the mages. Ventru were the Imperials. I think my first ever playthrough was the Tremere. Oh, the game does not have controller support. No, it doesn't. I actually checked that. I did check that because I was having some small issues with stutters. I did some test runs and was having some really horrible stutter issues that I did manage to fix. It was all very mouse related as well. So, like when turning the mouse, so it wasn't game stutters. The game was like rock steady, 60 frames a second, no drops whatsoever. But when I was turning with the mouse, I was getting. So I even contemplated playing with a controller, but it doesn't actually have a controller support. But I did manage to fix the stutters. So it's 57% off. One thing, piece of advice. I may make a very quick video about this, actually, for anyone thinking of doing it. If you're playing it on the PC, and I don't think it's on anything else, enable the console and type in SV_friction and change the number from 4 to, I don't know, 8 or even 10. I will make a video about this and show you how to set it up so it's permanent in the autoexec.config, because the movement in this game is really slidey. You'll move forward and then you'll stop and your character will keep moving forward a little bit, and same with sideways and backwards, and it feels horrible. It feels like you're skating. It does. It's nasty. One command fixes that. You suck at keyboard mouse gaming. Yeah, I don't know whether there is controller support. If you can mod it in, maybe you can. So, but if you're gonna, anyway, if you do try it, I will try and make a video showing you how to get rid of the friction thing, because it's because once you type in this one command, you can just type it in the console, or you can add it to an autoexec config, and it'll run it every time. it plays very much like a standard FPS game sort of feel in its movements. It's not exactly a problem with the engine. Exactly, just the default settings for that engine are just. Pick a character that's a bit more, pick one of the Blood Mage, the Charmer, if you want, the Bruja, a bit of a brawler. Gangrel. I don't think I've tried the Gangrel, but they are like the more bestial vampires, almost werewolfy without being werewolves. They've got that kind of, beast idea to them, but they're still perfectly normal vampires. You can sort of go and pass as human. Then once you've done at least one of them, play Malkavian. I played Malkavian in my Let's Play on my channel, and I can tell you it's hilariously funny. The Malkavians are schizophrenic. They hear voices in their heads, and they don't make any sense when they talk sometimes. Some of them do, some of them don't, actually. It's a really weird mix, I've noticed. Some of them make sense, but seem mad. Some of them seem perfectly sane, and your player character just talks in like a total stoner. So yeah, it's the curse of madness, but the madness seems to be vary. It seems to vary. I haven't played Nosferatu, so I can't tell you about it, but I mean, a lot of people are not going to like it because you have to play ugly, but that's what we're going to be doing next. Oh, wow. Segueing all over the place here. Absolutely the worst. I haven't even talked about the buttons yet. Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. The lines you say and the thoughts you have as a Malkavian always make sense. It just isn't always immediately obvious. And in fact, sometimes it really isn't obvious what the hell you're saying and what you're talking about until well after the fact, which is a shame because some of the voices you hear actually give you spoilers. I say it's a shame. It's probably not a shame, but they actually give you hints. They actually give you some seriously good hints, but they're so damn cryptic half the time you don't get it until later. Oh, right. That's why he said that. So, but that's kind of the clever side of it, and that might be why playing a Malkavian very soon after you've played another class might be a different experience. For me, I played the Malkavian and I hadn't played the game in years. Don't know if you guys remember, I actually did the Vampires playthrough because of the IGN Top 100 RPGs of all time list that was so annoying to me that because of some of the games it hadn't included. And I mentioned Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And I still think that list was annoying. Like, in the top 20, there were like 7 Final Fantasy games. And I know, I'm showing my biases here. Those games never appealed to me. Partly because I didn't have a console, and partly because there's just something about them. I could not stop mocking those games. I would not be able to play those games and not mock them mercilessly, constantly, all the way through. It's the hair. The hair and the swords. The hair and the swords. And the eyes being too big. Yeah. The style would just be like. I don't know what I'd be complaining about more, the physics of the swords or the physics of the character's hair. Oh. I mean, they're probably really, really good games, though. They're really good games. I just felt that the IGN list seemed to be somewhat like. It seemed to be like, I don't know, a very, very lopsided list. It would be like if I did a top 100 RPG list. You know, it would be completely lopsided to the sort of RPGs I like. And I get it, when you make a top list like that, you are going to be biased. But I'm thinking if you're a journalist and you're doing a top 100 list, not my top 100 favourite RPGs, but the top 100. You sort of have a bit of a responsibility. And it was missing some serious classics, wasn't it? I can't remember what else it was missing. And it had some. It had some that were in such a weird order that it made me think. But it had a lot of them that were just like, I was looking at them. I think number 4 was Pokemon. Was it Pokemon? Number 4. And I'm like, I don't want to sound like the fuddy-duddy old man going, really? But yeah, really? I'm like, it's a good RPG. Really? 4th best RPG better ever. Now, I've not played it. But if it really is the 4th best RPG of all time, better than all of the Mass Effect games, better than all of the Elder Scrolls games, better than Vampire Masquerade, better than Knights of the Old Republic, better than what was it? What was it that got above it? It was like, I think it was like Final Fantasy and some other games. I think 2 and 3 were ones I'd not played as well, but like they at least made some sort of sense to me. Exactly, I haven't played it, so how do I know? I get it, but if you're honestly telling me it's the 4th best RPG ever, I've got to play it. I need to cancel my Skyrim Let's Play and cancel the Vampire Let's Play and play this, but then I probably should do the Final Fantasy. 4th best ever, and so it was kind of like... I mean, I get it if it's your 4th favourite, but the 4th best? Really? Why did it not make that big a splash in the RPG community then? Because it didn't. It may have made a splash with Pokemon fans and become like known as an RPG, but the RPG fan base at the time, of which I was one, didn't notice that. You would hardly classify Pokemon game as an RPG anyway. Please, for the love of God, don't start making Final Fantasy videos. I wouldn't. I mean, it might actually be brilliant for my channel because all I would do is mock Final Fantasy something rotten. I've already mentioned that. And that would just draw in tons and tons of the Final Fantasy fan base to scream at me for being a heathen. And I'd get hate views. No, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'd probably really enjoy the story. I would probably enjoy, if it's as good as everyone says, I probably would get really into the characters, really into the story. But I can't help but mock things like that. I mock things like that in all of the games I play. You know, I don't. There's no. You know. Even the games I love, if something appears like that, then I'm gonna, I'm gonna mock it. I can't help it. It's my nature. And that is a game that's just absolutely primed for mockery by me. Let's face it. I spend my entire time deliberately misgendering everyone. I'd be seeing a guy and I'd be going, "Excuse me, miss," and then he'd speak and have a guy's voice go, "Oh, I'm sorry." Or I'd be seeing like what is supposed to be a woman, and I'd be going, "Excuse me, little girl, could you say me?" Because they do. I'm sorry. All of the female characters look like little girls, and I can't not do it. I can't not do it. And if I was playing the main character, I'd be like diving through a door, and I'd be in the middle of a battle, I'd be going, "No, not the hair! You got blood on my hair! Do you know how much product I've got in this?" I would say pathologically incapable of not doing that. So even if I thoroughly loved the game, and I probably would, and I'll say it now, I probably would, because I'm one of these people who actually enjoys a lot of different sorts of games, and I don't mind. I enjoyed, what was that one? Where you played the anime princess? And I mocked it mercilessly because she did look like an alien. But the gameplay was actually kind of engaging. So I can enjoy it, but I'm going to mock it, right? So that would be me. Long live the Queen. That was it. I'm going to do it. There's no way around it. And you know the fan base will go bonkers. So yeah. Has Gopher played the Prey Moon Crash DLC? I've not. I've never got around to doing it, actually, believe it or not. So there you go. I'm confusing Final Fantasy and manga anime Gopher. Well, they look the same to me. Big hair, strangely... Oh, God. How to say this without getting myself in trouble? Strangely androgynous men, young-looking people. Everyone's young. Even the old people look young to me. With ridiculously ginormous swords that absolutely defy physics because magic, right? Even I've seen these remakes. And obviously they seem to have toned it down a little bit, but I still find my eyes drawn to the hair. They always seem to have these broody hero types. Where their hair is falling over one eye. And all I want to do is scream, "That's gonna get in the way in combat! Put your hair back!" I got the voice of this Scottish drill sergeant in my head. Screaming, "Get your hair out of your face, you great bufter!" Oh, dear. Oh. Cloud is not broody. He's just a dumb nerd. Does he ever stand with his feet shoulder width apart, hands down at the side with his head tilted to one side, looking slightly down, but looking up with his eyes? If so, broody hero. No, he doesn't. Oh, okay, maybe not broody hero then. But he does. But anyway, so I'm showing all my prejudices here. I am showing all my prejudices here. I own them. I acknowledge them. I realise I'm being completely insulting a game that I've never played. Terrible person, absolutely. And I do acknowledge they may actually be superb games. I'm still finding it very difficult to believe that Pokemon Red and Blue was the 4th best RPG of all time. I find it hard to believe that many of the games on the list in the top 20 were better than things like Knights of the Old Republic, Morrowind, etc. But again, I'm showing my biases at that point. I cannot help but wonder where The Witcher 3 would have appeared on that person's list. So, yeah. The Green Phoenix. I must know now, does Gopher have long hair? I mean, he does live in Scandinavia. I don't even know what that means. How is Pokemon an RPG? Beats? I don't know. Not played it. Just, yeah. Oh, right. Dragon Age Origins. Was that even on the list? I remember there were a few games that were so misplaced. I think Dragon Age Origins was one. It was either way lower on the list than it should have been. Even because it was lower than some games that I mean, there were certain games I did notice that were lower than they should have been compared to games I knew. But there were some games that just were not there. Dragon Age Origins is way down the list. And so you're just looking at it and you think, I'm not totally sure we're using the same criteria for judging RPGs, but, you know. Having called out a game on E3 for being so Scandinavian because of long hair and tattoos. Oh right, yeah. There is a sort of there is a definite there is a subculture of Scandinavian, like, rockers, and they do have a certain look about them. They do have a certain look about them. It's like rockers with blonde hair. Very often using snooze, you get the lip thing. So there is a lot, but that's not like everyone in Scandinavia looks like that. Because you're talking about the guy that was Rage 2, right? He just looked Scandinavian. Everything about him looked Scandinavian to me. There's just certain people have a look that says Nordic. Very often, if you see the lip, if you see the monkey lip, they use snooze. That's, to me, that always makes people look Scandinavian. Witcher 3 is number 10 on the list. Yeah, that list was out before Witcher 3 came out. That must be a new list. Because I did my top 100. I did my critique of the IGN thing before Witcher 3 came out, didn't I? Or was it after Witcher 3? No. It shouldn't be number 10 on the list. It should be number 1. Greatest game ever. Anyone who disagrees is just scientifically provenly wrong. I had a plan. I wanted to talk about buttons. Buttons. I finally got the buttons on my Stream Deck sorted out for the podcast. And then I got it wrong. Because when I pressed the button for the chat, it didn't go to the right place. It went to the alert jar. That's why. Let's see if I can get this working better now. Let's see if I change that. All right. Okay. So now, podcast. Not the 76 o'clock news. Let's go with chat. Chat. And my game rig. Hey, look at that. I got everything working. Let's go to credits. Can I go to credits? I went to credits. Yay, credits. Without crashing everything or going blank. See? Finally got my Stream Deck sorted out for, this one. I'm really pleased with myself. Do his bubbles work? Wait, what? Why did my PC suddenly explode? Yeah. Everyone's so proud of me. So yeah, actually, you know what? I was going to do buttons right at the start of this bizarrely weird ramble, but it kind of actually works doing it at the end, really, doesn't it? I mean, because I can now show off by running the credits without panicking, knowing it will work. He says, hopefully. We are going to be continuing on with a bit of Fallout 76 if Quadico is up for it. But she's in the chat, so I'm assuming she is. So we're gonna continue on with a bit of Fallout 76. Don't know how much, don't know how long for, but that's what we're going to do. So if you want to hang around and listen to us complain about Fallout 76, although not about the hairstyles, how do I feel about the game now? Tell you what, why don't we wait until we get in Fallout 76 to discuss Fallout 76? Z and C. Yeah, Quarico's ready to play. She's already ranting. About the buttons. She's ready to play. Are there Pokemons in it, though? You're going to love the stream title. Are we changing the stream title? Oh. You've already changed. He's already changed the title for the stream. He's way ahead. Perno Benedetto, thank you very much. Oh dear. We need an emote for 76, don't we? Not 76. That's too direct. All right, anyway, I tell you what. Let's leave it there. It's been exactly 59 minutes and 41 seconds and counting. I'm actually going to be ending this on the 1 hour mark. Oh, that's how long I've been live, though. Probably start a few minutes. You know what? Hey, we'll end a few minutes early this time. There's a first. There's a first. I'm going to have credits. We're going to have credits, and then we're going to be back with Fallout 76. Okay? So I will see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to run the credits, and then we're going to... Maybe I'll restart the stream as well, just because. Makes it a little easier on the VOD at Twitch's end. Who do we what? Chasing the cheese! No, chasing the echoes! Chasing the cheese. I prefer chasing the cheese. Change your name. Chasing the echoes. Thank you very much. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, see you soon. Credits, yes! Small victories. Doesn't matter. Happy now. See you soon.